What's up, everyone? So today I'm going to be showing you how to do a randomizer for your Majora's Mask ROM. So in this video, just so y'all know, I will not show you where the ROM is. That you will have to find out on your own, but I will tell you the other steps in order to get it. So with that being said, let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is you want to head over to the Discord. So I've actually got my Discord pulled up already. So the way you would figure that out is there are several different Discords that you can find. For each individual one that you're looking for, you can actually go in to find that specific Discord by just doing a search for it. So for example, if I was to look for Majora's Mask Randomizer, you would just type in Majora's Mask Randomizer. Yeah. Like so. When you hit enter, it's going to pop up Majora's Mask Randomizer. Obviously, I can't spell. So when you put it in there, it's going to come up and it's going to tell you which of the randomizers you can do. Which of the Discords you can find. There are several different ones. Okay, for example, this one's a different one that I'm actually going to be using, but it still works the same way. It still has the same exact materials, the same exact files, the same exact stuff. So what you would do is you would head over to your Discord. Right? Mine is loading. So when your Discord loads up and you look for the right one, like for example, I have this one. So it's going to come up. You're going to go to Resources. Resources covers everything that you're looking for your randomizer. So you're going to pull up your randomizer, and you're going to look up the right. You're going to look up your Discord, and you're going to pull up the right one. So the one that you want is the current build that they have on the website. You don't want to use an older build because it could cause your ROM not to operate. So what you would do is you will download this right here. Okay, you're going to download that file. That file is going to come out into a zip file. You're going to open it up. After you open up the randomizer, just so you all know, it did take me a little bit to find the ROM in order to get this to work, but don't be afraid of trial and error. Okay. What I did was I actually put in the actual name of the file in order to find the ROM, because there are several different versions that you can look up in order to operate what you're trying to do. Not all ROMs are the same because they are in different formats, and not all ROMs are if it's in an exe file, or an exe file, it's not going to work. Okay. So if you find an exe file of a ROM, do not download it. It's not going to work. It is a fake, and it's not real. Okay? It's going to either be in a zip file, or it's going to be in a file all on its own. A helpful hint when you're looking up your ROMs, I will not tell you where to get them, but if you can locate what the file name is and you do a search for that, that is your best bet to find the exact one that you're looking for, or at least give you in the right direction. So what you want to do is you want to open up your ROM. Okay. And for me, like I said, I've already got the file downloaded. You're going to pull up your ROM, and you're going to pick the one that you want. After you open it up, okay, your ROM name is going to be here in the description. Do not mess with the random seed. Leave it alone. Let it do its thing. You can rename it. I wouldn't. Just leave it alone. Down here under your categories, you can change the songs and the items and rearrange them. You can randomize the dungeon items. You can randomize your shop items. When you randomize your shop items, you won't see it until you physically buy it in the shop. So keep that in mind whenever you do that. You will not see it on the wall. You won't see it until you physically buy the item from the shopper. When items are caught in a bottle, if you check this, what will happen is if you swipe the bottle and you catch an item, it'll be a random item. It won't be a fairy, or if the fairy's flying around, it won't exactly be a fairy. It'll be something else entirely. Or you can rearrange everything. The Song of Soaring is automatic, so when you first start out, if you leave that on there, it'll automatically be in that same spot. The Gospel Stones will tell you hints of where certain items are. So if you leave that on, you can actually put in hints. The dungeon entrances, whenever you go to enter them, for every dungeon, it'll actually either be you may actually be walking into a completely different dungeon entirely. Fight the enemies in those dungeons, it'll actually be a different one. I strongly suggest leaving that off. Okay. Now, if you go over to gimmicks, if you go over to your damage mode, you can have 2-shot, 4-shot, 1-hit KO, or Doom. I'm not really sure what Doom is. I'm assuming it's like God mode. Damage effects, you can actually turn around and have yourself, if somebody hits you, you get set on fire from everybody that hits you. You can get set on ice, you can get shocked, you can get knocked down. I usually put mine on random, this way it makes it a little bit more fun for the game. Movement speed, when someone hits you, you can get slowed. You can have high gravity, you can have low gravity, you can have super low gravity, depending on the person that hits you on your knockback. 4 types, depending on where you're going, you can actually change out the 4 types to sand, ice, snow, or random every time you go into a different room. And then you have your cosmetics. You can shorten out your scenes to make it shorter. I personally would leave it alone. You can do quick text to where your text will come out a little bit quicker. You can change the color of your tunic. We'll do orange. Okay, for this tutorial we'll do orange. Okay, and you'll know if you have the right ROM because when the ROM loads completely, he'll be wearing that color. Okay, so for example, you can actually go in and play as Link from Majora's Mask. You can play Link as Ocarina of Time. You can play as Adult Link, which makes physical changes, or you can play as Keffi in the actual game. I'm just going to leave it as Majora's Mask Link. On your tally, you can change the color to dark. I'm assuming that's red. Cool, which is blue. And you can have it on random or you can have it on rainbow. I'm going to set mine to rainbow. So, after you've done all of that, and everything is completely the way that you want it, you're going to hit randomize. Okay? When you hit randomize, it's going to come up with a file name. It's going to put it in that file that you first got your ROM in. You don't have to keep it in that file. You can actually move it to another file, but for this tutorial, I'm going to go ahead and leave it in there. And I'm going to put it as MM2. Okay? And we're just going to leave it at that. You can name it whatever you want, but for this tutorial, it's Majora's Mask 2, which is the abbreviation for the 2. So I'm going to say save. As soon as you hit save, your ROM is going to activate. Okay? You'll know that it is correct when it tells you that it is successfully completed. Okay? Once the build has been successfully completed, you're going to hit OK. Now we're going to pull up our emulator. For this tutorial, we're going to use BizHawk Client. Okay? When you open it up, this is a universal emulator, which means that it actually runs NES, Super NES, 64, GameCube. It runs it all. So when you click on this, you're basically going to open up the file. You're going to open up where that ROM was, and you're going to open up where the file was located. Okay. For example, mine was in my downloads. If you look up where the ROM was located, you're going to find that ROM, which here it is, ROM 2, and you're going to load it. When you load it, it should automatically start playing. Okay, our ROM has been successfully loaded. it is working. You'll know that you did the hack right because Link will be wearing that tunic that you changed. See? Now he's got an orange tunic on. Normally it's green. So now you know that it actually works. If you have any questions,